And we do have the beautiful, wonderful Rabia with us. I'm so glad. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and it is June 27th. And welcome to Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club. I'm Sally Reyes, acting Sergeant at Arms. And please take out your phone and set it to silent so we won't interrupt anyone's wonderful speech. And I would like to welcome the ingenious, the celebrating her last meeting, I think, and all the other wonderful things that Cynthia is outstanding as a president and going on to other fields. Thank you, Cynthia. Please take it away.
Thank you, Sally. Awesome, awesome. Well, welcome to Leaders Worldwide. Welcome to our members and our guests. We're so excited for you to be here. We're having a special meeting. We're doing an extended table topics done by none other than Sally Reyes, who just introduced me. And that gives more people a chance to share their ideas. So we're really looking forward to that. And we're doing that instead of the keynote speaker today. And I want to read the Toastmasters International mission, the core values, the club mission, and why we exist here at Leaders Worldwide. First of all, Toastmasters International's mission is to empower individuals to become more effective communicators and leaders. The core values are integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And our club mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. And here at Leaders Worldwide, we were designed for politicians, business and nonprofit leaders, entrepreneurs, and others who want to make their message more authentic, heartfelt, and ready for the worldwide stage. And one of the ways that we're preparing you for the worldwide stage is we are preparing to have a TEDx event. Woohoo! I think it will be the first Toastmasters Club sponsored TEDx event. And I've been preparing for that. And one of the things that I did was I recently, Saturday, I held 2 Clubhouse meeting on Clubhouse about TEDx and why, let's see what it is. TEDx, what's your idea worth spreading? Because that's the theme of every TEDx. And then they also have a specific theme for each TEDx event. And we'll be deciding that with our committee in a few weeks to months as we prepare for our TEDx. And it was so powerful to do that Clubhouse because I got to hear over 20 people say what their message is that they want to spread to the world. And I tell you, their stories were amazing and their ideas were amazing. And the idea is it's something that you know about intimately. You may have a PhD in it, you may work in it, but you also may just be a person that has had an experience with that idea or a family member that had an experience with that idea. And so I'm helping people to grow their idea worth spreading privately in a group setting. And I am helping them to add the 4 elements of a world champion speech, which is inspiration, as I see it, inspiration, vulnerability, humor, and a twist. And I'll be offering that on Wednesday, and I'll post that in the chat if you want to come for the free workshop. And Teresa's going to be our amazing demonstration speaker. And so we'll listen to her speech. I'm not sure if she'll do the same one as today, but we'll take it deeper with, I'll give her some coaching and we'll get some reflections from the audience. So fabulous. I would like to welcome our guests to introduce themselves. So let's see, we've got Rowan King. You didn't have a chance to introduce yourself earlier. Hi, Rowan. Would you like to unmute and tell us where you're calling in from and why you came today to Leaders Worldwide?
Sure. So my name is Rowan King, and I'm from the East Bay Area. And I came here today to kind of focus on improving my communication and public speaking skills.
Awesome. And you're going to have a chance because we have an extended table topic session, which is impromptu speaking for 1 to 2 minutes. And you can definitely participate in that. So excited
Awesome.
to have you here. Awesome. And Alpana, is that how you pronounce your name, Alpana?
Hi, my name is
Hi.
Alpana. So it's
Alpana.
Alpana.
Awesome. Alpana. And would you like to introduce yourself, where you're calling in from, and why you're here today?
Sure. So my name is Alpana Aras, and I'm a personal brand coach and a photographer. And I mostly work with female entrepreneurs, purpose-driven female entrepreneurs, to help them get visible for impact and influence, because we live in such a saturated world. So it's really important to be able to stand out online. So that's a little bit about what I do. And I'm actually here because what was my incentive was to actually have my son do this, the kind of the public speaking, or get to be in that, improving his communication skills as well as mine. And I knew that if I wasn't a part of this, he probably wouldn't come. So this is a mom sort of helping her son also get started in his journey of public speaking, and also for me to grow from this experience. So thank you so much for having us.
That's awesome. And it really helps to have someone go with you, because I avoided Toastmasters for 13 years. For 13 years, I didn't even set foot as a guest because I was terrified of public speaking. So it's wonderful to have someone go with you, to start you on your journey, and to have a partner to be able to go on that journey together. It's kind of like working out. You're working out your public speaking muscle. Awesome. Welcome, welcome. And Sam, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us why you're here today?
My name is Samuel Acosta. I have always been behind the scenes type of guy. So I think now that I'm in a different industry, I need to be in the front. So I definitely always looking to improve, and definitely this is one area that I know I need to improve. So looking forward to the opportunity, and thank you for the invite.
Wonderful. So glad you're here. And I love that you all three are wanting to step up and do something different, really take action to move forward on your dreams of being a better communicator and public speaker. And I think you're in the right place, especially today, because we have an extended table topics, and you'll have lots of opportunity to practice your public speaking in a very safe environment for a very short time, 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, great. Awesome. And welcome all our wonderful guests and members. I'm so excited today. And one of our fabulous members and the co-sponsor of this club, and she has so many things behind her name. She's a distinguished Toastmaster, which is only 1% of Toastmasters reach the level of distinguished Toastmasters. And she did it, I think, was it 18 or 19 months, something like that? Really fantastic. Please welcome our Toastmaster of the day, DTM Linda Patton.
Thank you, Symphony. Hello, Cynthia. You are a symphony of fabulous words for introducing me. That's awesome. And welcome guests. We do so appreciate having guests in the audience. and getting a chance to hear your words. And today, the theme for the day is engagement, which is defined as an interaction between two entities. Living as we have in a virtual setting for more than 2 years has dramatically changed our way of engagement. We learned to engage through Zoom and other online platforms. In the early learning stages, engagement was tentative. With time and practice, our engagements, our interactions became more positive. We enjoyed them more. But with more than 2 years behind us, are people itching to return to in-person interactions? See what we can do with that. And I'd now like to introduce a member, I guess, on my team, and he's got a whole team behind him, our general evaluator, Victor Irving Jenkins.
Greetings. Have I been smart enough to unmute myself?
We can hear you.
Yes, you have.
Okay,
Loud
okay
and clear.
then I guess I'm not going to be embarrassed. As a general evaluator, it's my job to evaluate all aspects of the meeting. It is also my job to introduce the evaluators when that portion of the meeting comes, which is typically after the initial portion that includes the prepared speakers. You see, the mission of a Toastmasters Club can be assessed at the time the general evaluator gives his or her report, and you can count on me to do that. In addition to that, there's a couple of other reports that I'll be asking for, and one of them is the timer's report. But for now, I'm going to invite the timer to tell us what the timer's role is and how the timer does their thing. Take it away, timer.
Thank you, Mr. GM. I will be the timer today, and my job is to keep the speakers on time. And today we have actually 2 speakers. So when the speaker, let's say the speech is from 5 to 7 minutes. When the speaker reaches 5 minutes, you see the green. 6 minutes, yellow. 7 minutes, red, and they have 30 seconds to wrap it up. When it comes to table topics, it's going to be from 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, you'll see the green, 1.5, the yellow, and 2 minutes, the red, and you will have 30 seconds to finish your speech. And then the third portion or third section is going to be the evaluations. So the evaluations are from 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, you see the green, 2.5, yellow, and 3 minutes, red, and then you will have to wrap it up. Now, I will actually put my hand up so the timer will be in the left side of your screen, so you will always be able to see me. So that will be my job today. Back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you. Let's give him a huge round of applause. Very nicely done. We appreciate you taking on that role. Another role that's going to be given to Isaac, and it's normally a different person, but today the same person is going to have both roles, and that is the grammarian. So will the grammarian take a few moments and tell us what it means that you're a grammarian and what is the significance of you being the grammarian? Take it away again, Isaac. Give it up for Isaac.
It's
Thank you.
Rabia.
Yeah, actually, it was a change, Victor. It's going to be Rabia. So,
Well then, congratulations, Rabia. You are now going to get the virtual lectern, and you will give us the ins and the outs of the grammarian. Take it away, Rabia.
Thank you so much, DTM Victor. So the grammarian plays a very important role in helping all clubs members to improve their grammar and vocabulary. As a grammarian, I will be writing down the language and grammar usage throughout this, and noting down incomplete sentences or mispronunciations or the grammatical idioms or phrases which I like and which are not so good. And in the end, I'll be giving the report back to the general evaluator. I will also introduce the word of the day, which is teamwork. Teamwork is the word of the day, and I'll encourage all the speakers to use this word throughout their speeches. It means the combined action of a group, especially when effective and efficient. So teamwork suggests that people work in an atmosphere of mutual support and trust and working together cohesively with good intergroup relations. So just like Leader Worldwide does great teamwork and bring out amazing meetings every day. So use this teamwork word in your speeches, in your evaluations, or whenever you are given the chance to speak. That's all from me. Back to you, DTM Victor.
Thank you very much for your contribution to the whole teamwork that we're doing today, and I appreciate you immensely. Now it's time to abdicate the virtual lectern back to the MC of the day, the Toastmaster of the day, none other than Linda Patton. Let's give it up. Take it away, Linda. You can have it back.
Thank you so very much, Victor. And we do render an apology for sort of playing around with the members of your team. I think we all have now for you. At this point, I'd like to introduce our table topics master, or mistress in this case, Sally Reyes. And she has some wonderful topics and questions to give you all to represent teamwork and engagement.
Yes.
Take it away, Sally.
Hi. Well, we actually have two, I think, themes, words for the day. So please feel free to use teamwork and/or engagement, because that's what we're all about in Toastmasters. I would like to ask first a member of the group to kind of give us an example of how to do it. So is Rowan here?
Oh, it's not a member.
Sally, do you want to first ask a member?
Yeah,
And then
Rosalind. Rosalind. Excuse me.
Rosalind is not here.
All right. Well, how about Lynn? Lynn's
Lynn's
not
here.
here.
I'm happy to, but I'll be giving a speech later. But I love table topics.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn.
Me too.
Oh, let Catherine do it.
Oh, no, no, no.
Yes.
No, I want to hear from you, Ms. Lynn.
Okay. One of my curious ones is, when you're 80 years old, what will matter to you most?
When I'm 80 years old, what will matter to me most? See, repeating it helps you remember it. And to use a word of the day, teamwork. I expect to be robustly healthy when I'm 80, and that's going to be a high priority. But it's so far in the future, I can hardly think about it. But just imagining that will happen, having a teamwork, having a group of people who are supports, because that's one of the most important areas that we have in terms of health and wellness, is having a good support system. I expect to be as active as I am now. I expect to be healthier than I am now. And it'll be because I have planned, I've executed, I've stayed mentally active with groups like Toastmaster. We'll all celebrate my 80th birthday, if I admit it. And know that the teamwork that I've been involved with within Toastmasters for so long has really aided me in the quality of my life in health and wellness. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster, Madam Topic Master.
That was wonderful. Thank you. And now I'd like to ask, okay, we're into, yes, Alpina, a new visitor. Alpina? You were there a bit ago. Okay. How about Sam?
Oh, I'm
Alpina is ready to answer.
Okay, great.
Alpina is ready.
Alpina, are you on for today?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm here.
I have a question. What are you most grateful for?
Well, what am I most grateful for? This is such a wonderful question for me, especially on this call. I'd love to say that I'm most grateful for my son. He has been one of the magical things that has happened to me in life. He was what's the word I'm looking for? He was definitely somebody that was wanted and was several years in the making. So he was an IVF baby that was born after me ending up leaving my job, or losing my job, and then finally realizing that I actually wanted to be a mother, which was something I hadn't quite thought about as actively when I was working, because I was so ambitious and driven by what I was doing. And then I realized I really wanted to be a mother, but it was actually really hard to conceive at that point. And it took a few years and a journey of having him. And I feel really grateful to have him in my life. And it did take some teamwork for us to get there by getting the assistance of different doctors that were on the team, as well as friends and other online support groups that helped in this journey, which was an absolute roller coaster journey of ups and downs. And today, just being out here, I'm so grateful that he actually even gets to hear this part of it, because I don't know that we've ever talked about it. So thank you so much for this beautiful question.
Thank you. Practice, practice, practice. Thanks so much. I love that. And how about Rowan?
Hello.
Hi, welcome to our group.
Thank you.
Let's see now, my question is, if we learn from our mistakes, why are we so afraid to make them? I'm one of those.
All right, so if we learn from our mistakes, why are we so afraid to make them? I think that one of the reasons that we're so afraid to make mistakes is because we don't like being wrong. And being wrong is really scary, especially in front of a lot of other people. So making mistakes is definitely something that's tough, and I'm guilty of that as well. Just getting a question wrong on a test or messing up in front of other people really scares me. So I guess that's probably one of the reasons that we're so afraid to make mistakes, is we just feel embarrassed or that it's not right. But I guess making mistakes is kind of something that leads to a lot of growth, and you have to really make those mistakes in order to become a better person and kind of just grow into yourself, I guess. But I would say that's kind of one of the reasons that we're afraid to make mistakes.
Thank you so much. I think that's maybe the reason why you're here, to see what we're all about, but that was wonderful. Let me see. I did have an interesting one. Does anybody like pets? Do they have a pet? Did I have a volunteer who has a pet?
I am a pet.
Oh, you
Well,
broke
that
it.
qualifies.
Well, I was going to ask you if you had a pet, or you are a pet. What have you learned from your pet activities?
Oh, you talking to me?
Yes, you said you am a pet.
Okay. Pets, what I have learned is that golden retrievers are the prototype pet. And if I really had the opportunity to become a pet, I would be a golden retriever. A golden retriever can bite your throat out if they need to, but they would rather not bite your throat out because they are so lovable. I had the occasion yesterday to meet a young lady who had 2 golden retrievers, and I really enjoyed interacting with those golden retrievers. But what I enjoy even more so than interacting with golden retrievers is being on a Toastmasters Zoom meeting, right? And being called upon for table topics, right? And being so committed to looking directly into the camera that I wouldn't dare look away from the camera while I'm speaking, right? And then finding out that, oh my God, I have no idea what the word of the day is. So now I'm going to have to keep talking for the duration of
Teamwork.
the 2 minutes and 30 seconds until I
Teamwork.
can figure out what the word of the day is. And did someone just say the word of the day?
Teamwork or engagement. Try either.
Oh, that's right. Engagement. I've been engaged, I guess, 4 times. And I got married all 4 of the times I was engaged. Is that not the kind of engagement you mean? Okay. Teamwork. Right. Teamwork makes the dream work. So if I've been married 4 times, you know, I've been a part of at least 4 teams. But alas, only one of the teams won. And that's the one I'm still married to right now. Thank you for asking me the question about what I learned about my pets. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to think about my favorite dog of all time, whose name was Barney. Back to you, Madame Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much. That was extremely enjoyable. My favorites are Australian Shepherds. They'll move in a flash and support you emotionally all the time. So either one of those are great dogs. Thank you. Okay, I have a question for a traveler. Do we have someone who's traveled lots of places? Of course, I think Cynthia is probably the most traveled person I've ever talked to, but do we have a traveler? Travel? Oh, great, that Sheena, wonderful. How did your international travel broaden your world?
Okay, well, one of the things that I just spoke about, or I did some notes on today, was that traveling means that I meet people from different cultures with different skills, different knowledge. And when you're put together in a room, sometimes being a better listener means that you can learn something from somebody that's a specialist. And one of the other things I found being a traveler was that I can choose where I go, and I go to places where I feel celebrated, not tolerated. So when I choose to go to a place, it's because I know the people, I know what their skills are and what they're going to talk about. So I enjoy that. And the third part about being a traveler is that jumping on a train or a plane or a bus. And last week I jumped on a train and went to see ABBA in London. And when I was there with my boys. And so there's a lot of younger people there. And one of the things I've learned about traveling is it doesn't matter what age you are, if you've got the correct attitude and behavior and you laugh a lot and love people, you can fit in anywhere when you travel.
Wow, thank you. You did exquisitely. All of you have, I think, are we at the end of our time?
No, we are not, but it is up to you, Madam Table Topics Master, especially with your eyes and so on. You tell us when you are finished, but we have a good 10 minutes or more if you would like.
All right, who would like to volunteer to be the next speaker? Hello.
I'll volunteer.
Oh, terrific.
And you can also, You can also, I volunteered because I was challenged to speak. And so you can gently challenge us all to speak, my dear.
Thank you. I really, it's wonderful to hear these spontaneous answers in every direction. My question is, if you were engaged to put on a large event and special event, how would you proceed to organize the people helping you in teamwork?
Oh, what a nice question. Ooh, that is a juicy question, Madam Tabletop's mistress. Because it's such a big question and it requires a little ambitious thought for me. So what I would do is I would ask the team members, the managing team members, what their group needs. Why are they coming to this event? What do they need to deliver, or what do they need to receive? And when I got that, that would be the first step in organizing the principles or the guidelines upon which we would get the most, we all would get the most out of the event. And then we would get to the practicalities of what platforms, whatever we might need from there. So thank you for the head start on my next event, Madam Tabletopic's mistress.
Jesus, I'm somebody's mistress now. Thank you so much, guys. I think that thinking about organizing any event, such as a wedding or celebration of birthdays or saving lives, it's all about how many people do you have that you can trust in assigning them and getting it done on time with respect and support, and especially superb teamwork. Thank you. I turn it back to you.
Oh, aren't you going to call for some more volunteers? We have some more time left. I was just going to volunteer.
Oh, Cynthia. Yeah, I have to use this. I love this question, and I think it's for you. What have you learned in traveling and studying other special people who've taught you interesting lessons?
Wonderful. I love this question. Well, I have been traveling by airplane since I was 5 years old and internationally since I was 11 years old. So I've had a lot of travel experiences. I've learned so many things, but I think what I learned best is that people are people everywhere you go. And you can connect with them whether or not you speak their language, because we can all connect with our hearts. And I've learned to speak with my heart and to have amazing exchanges with people that are of different walks of life, that are different, have different experiences. And one of the best conversations that I had was I was at a former geisha house, and I sat down and had tea. It was just me, the geisha house, previous geisha house owner, and my tour guide. And although she interpreted between us, it was more like three women just sitting down to tea, having a wonderful experience. And the geisha house owner made us a recommendation for a special dinner to have in Japan. We always wanted to try kaiseki. It's called kaiseki. And it's very high etiquette, little bit of food, but high etiquette. That's what we were warned. It's not enough food for you. I was, no, we want the ceremony. And she recommended a small little place, and they passed us through the restaurant. It was like a bar, like a sushi bar, but it was hot food, not sushi, and escorted us into their dining room, their personal dining room. And we had a beautiful feast and a beautiful exchange. And it was so wonderful. And we didn't speak each other's language, but I always speak the language of food as well. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. Table topics master.
Thank you.
Sally?
The language of food, that's,
Yeah.
there is no other as wonderful. And the more spices you can put in your body, the healthier you'll be. So be sure and use lots of spices. Thank you. I
And
think that's good for the day.
Now, Miss Sally, I think we have time for Rabia to give us one.
Rabia?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Ah. Rabia, are you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Great. What? Oh dear. What can you do today that you couldn't do a year ago? And how do you feel about it?
Thank you so much, Table Topic Master, for that wonderful, because I really connect to it. I have been a housewife for 16 years, and it was recently, like few months, a year ago, that I joined volunteer work. I used to think that volunteer work is something that you do when you have free time and when you just want to go and spend some time with the less privileged people, or if you want to help someone, and it's according to our time. For example, if I'm feeling today up, I'll go up and do the volunteer work and that. But once I joined this amazing institute which I work for, the Citizen Foundation, I realized that even volunteer work needs commitment and dedication. And they, even if you volunteer for something, even then you have to give your time. So that is one thing which I wouldn't be able to do a year before, which I'm doing right now, which is giving my commitment and my time to other people other than my family. I was like a full-time mother and a housewife and taking care of my family and my in-laws as well. We live in a joint family system, so everyone. So I wouldn't have thought that I would be able to step out of my comfort zone, of my safe place of my house, and go out to the remote areas of my cities and go there and help the other people. So that is one thing which I do today, which I would never have imagined that I would take out dedicated time and commitment for for the nation.
Whoa.
Thank you.
That
Back to you.
is it in Toastmasters is going to help you even further. That intuition of who needs help and how to respond is a terrific skill. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
And Sam, I would like to hear from Sam. Do you have one for Sam?
Sam, are you on?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, I did want to ask you. Can you tell me how international travel has changed your life?
I have been I have had the opportunity to travel to a few countries. I can honestly say that, you know, when I have traveled, you know, looking at these beautiful places, it was amazing. But most amazing to me is meeting other people. I think having the opportunity to engage with them and to realize that after all, we're not different at all. The different cultures, different races, we're all humans. And and the opportunity to meet them and to learn about them and their different customs. You know, it's really interesting to me. I love to travel. I definitely enjoy it. And along with my wife, we've been to different places. And once you get to know them, you realize that, you know, we're really one whole teamwork. One person, you know, I mean, as the same person, just from different places. But I definitely enjoy traveling. I've been to Germany, Austria, South Korea, and Panama in Latin America, Mexico, El Salvador. So anyways, I really enjoy traveling, and I like to engage with others, and just the opportunity to get to know them. Let's see. I see yellow. I'm looking at the thing that's kind of throwing me off. But yeah, definitely it's great opportunity to travel and to meet other people. So thank you. I think that's all I have.
Thank you so much. I really enjoy that. I feel like we get a piece of different people from different parts of the world, and we carry it back and let them know how wonderful those people are and how important they are. Thank you so much, as you are to me. Thank you. Okay. I think that's it for the day.
And Sally, if you, or excuse me, not Sally, our Toastmaster, Isaac, and also our timer, if you would put 5 minutes on the timing, we will take a quick break and then get back to our prepared speeches.
Thank you so much. That's great.
5 minutes start.
There we are. There we are.
Okay. All right, so timer, Isaac, if you wouldn't mind reaffirming the timing for our two speeches tonight.
The speeches tonight are going to be 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, you will see the green, 6 minutes, the yellow, 7 minutes, the red, and you will have 30 seconds to finish your last thought. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Isaac. I appreciate that. And now I'm going to turn it over to our first evaluator, Tala bin Hamid.
Thank you so much. Today, Toastmaster Teresa will be delivering her project from Persuasive Speaking. The title of the project is Hobby or Business? It's up to you. The purpose of this project is for the members to understand the types of persuasive speeches and deliver a persuasive speech at a club meeting. During the completion of this project, the member has spent time learning about persuasive speaking. The member will deliver a well-organized persuasive speech of any type. The member may choose to appeal to emotions, ethics, or logic in his or her speech. The speech may be humorous, information, or any style the member chooses. About our speaker, first of all, she is an accountant like me. She's a CPA. So she is an expert at mitigating US income taxes. She's on a mission to educate taxpayers about their options and opportunities while playing the great game of tax. The speech is entitled, All Right. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Teresa Cherry.
And Kathleen, if you would please introduce Miss Cherry to the group, and then I will do the what the speech is.
All right, I've already, I believe, done that.
Okay,
So yeah,
never mind.
you can, yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. So let me introduce Teresa Cherry, business or hobby, it's up to you. It's up to you, business or hobby, Teresa Cherry.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. Business or hobby. Immediately, what comes to mind is a whole group of regulations and guidelines put together by the Internal Revenue Service. However, today I would like to approach it from a little different angle, which would be, do you have something, some activity that really lights you up, that is your passion, you love to do, and it gives you so much joy that you can spend hours and hours at it and spend thousands of dollars just because you want to get a little bit better or have a new accessory or enhancement to that activity. Now, we've heard a lot about the Great Resignation and the entrepreneurial spirit that seems to be moving throughout our society. And maybe you have thought about turning that activity into a business. Well, let's consider your options. The very first thing to consider is to do a little bit of soul searching. Would you continue to enjoy this activity if you had to go to work at it every day? If you were responsible to clients or customers? For instance, if you made cupcakes for the school fundraiser and someone said, I'm giving a big party next week, can you deliver 1,000 cupcakes? Maybe that would be a joyful invitation to you. Or maybe it would be an invitation to drudgery. Only you can decide. So once you've decided that perhaps that activity should be turned into a business, if only because so many of your friends are thinking about needing a side hustle, wanting to have something that could generate a little bit of income, if for whatever reason they were to leave their job or perhaps simply want to make that activity more formalized. Okay, so number 2, can this become a profitable business? Well, to my mind, profitable business is an oxymoron. The very definition of business is it's engaged for profit. And that's the way the taxing authorities think of it too. As a matter of fact, if you have personal activities that generate a profit, where you do make a little bit of money, of course you are expected to pay the tax on that and fess up to the Internal Revenue Service. However, with a personal activity, if you suffer a loss, if you spend more money on it than you make, well, too bad, it's a personal activity and it's not deductible, which is why so many people have activities that they call a business right about tax time and not so much during the rest of the year. If you'd like to, let me share an example with you. I have a client who loves automobiles and boats, so much so that he does a lot of repair work, and to his friend's mind, he's a genius at body work. Oh, auto body work, that is. Anyway, he had a small shop behind a auto dealership and was perfectly happy, simply breaking even with a lot of his activities, as well as hanging out with his friends. He lost his lease. And lo and behold, he had a wonderful opportunity to take on and buy another business that included a building. So now he and his spouse own a 4-service bay auto dealership, auto repair shop. Well, all this man wants to do is work on cars and boats. He has absolutely no interest whatsoever in doing the administrative work or keeping the records. Quite frankly, he's been breaking even or had a very small profit for many years because his spouse has a wonderful corporate job with great benefits, and she's very happy to keep him happy just working on cars. Now, however, they have a huge challenge, and it's really affecting their relationship and their marriage. So therefore, I would certainly encourage you to make sure that you really want to have a business and are engaging in activity for profit before you are able to take the plunge. And remember that, as I said, if you turn a profit in a hobby or other activity, you do have to fess up, even if it's illegal. Remember, they got Al Capone for tax evasion because they couldn't get him on anything else. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so very much, Teresa. And if we could have a minute on the timer, please.
Time's up.
Thank you very much. Let me introduce evaluator number 2, Shana Walker, who will introduce our next speaker. Shana?
Yeah. Welcome, Toastmasters and Madam Toastmaster. I don't know, I never quite get that right. I'd like to introduce Lynn Fraley today, and she's doing Visionary Leadership level 3, and today she's going to be speaking about 3 areas, I believe, about what's the vision as a leader, and how can you be inspirational, and she will link that to her topic on health and well-being so that she can share with us some of the areas that we can take on board after our talk and do differently so as we can feel ever so much better. Please welcome Lynn Fraley.
Lynn Fraley, Simple Wellness, Lynn Fraley.
Are you clear why wellness is more urgent now than ever? I've been in the healthcare business for a long time, and there are a few areas that come to mind when I talk about leadership and wellness. Mindset, mission, and moves we take. When it comes to wellness, a lot of imprinting has been done when we were children. I remember being a child and having my sore throats and hearing that all of my friends, all of them had tonsillectomies, and they could have as much ice cream as they could eat when they went to the hospital. I love ice cream. So I begged my doctor, please, I want a tonsillectomy. See, I get sore throats. I need a tonsillectomy and I want the ice cream. And he looked at me, demonstrating true leadership. He said, why would you get a tonsillectomy when you could have problems that the tonsils are protecting you from? I thought about that. I thought, well, it is a kind of a little first warning system. And now we know more that people who did have those tonsillectomies have had more problems, but that's a different story. The kind of mindset we create is profound. But we all have a mission in terms of our health and well-being. So I always wanted to be a nurse. I was so excited about getting through my nurse's training and getting out to work with people. And I got there and I was so surprised to find that a number of my patients had a lot of pride in their illness. Pride. Some of them would even say, I have the best case of this that my doctor's ever seen. I'm thinking to my little note to self here, why would someone be excited about having an illness? That kind of response actually guided my career and my course. And within that course, I had wonderful leaders who inspired me and encouraged me to go farther in my education. Wellness was always came to the top because we could have control over wellness. It doesn't, we are self-leaders when it comes to wellness. I have a neighbor named Lisa, and a few months ago, Lisa said to me, Lynn, I have someone I want you to meet. His name is Tim. He works with body work, and he can figure out how to get parts for your old car. I said, terrific. The following day, I was at my neighbor's house to help him with something. Who shows up with Tim? And not only who is Tim, but he shows up with this whole envelope full of medical papers. And he said he's got a health problem. So my neighbor said he says, don't talk to me, talk to Lynn, she's the expert. And I looked at his packet of medical papers. I said, I don't care what your doctors have to say, you tell me what's going on. So he starts describing his health issues and some things that came up. And I'm talking about some changes. And he pulls this candy bar out of his pocket when I asked him what he liked to eat. And I said, okay, here's a trash can, Tim, we can start our journey right now. So Tim gives me a look and he puts the candy bar in the trash can. Well, the good news was that Tim had motivation. He had a sense of urgency. He had an intent, and he really had a mission to become more well. Over the past few months, Tim has lost some weight. His color's better. He has more energy. He feels better. He's thinking better. And although he still has some health issues, he's made, I would consider, a major transformation because he chose to do that. It was his mission to get better, and he listened. Not everyone's interested in wellness. A lot of people say, well, later, that could be down the way. That could be something that I might look at another point in time. It was enough of a mission for me that I went and got a master's degree in community mental health nursing from UCLA. Thought, why not? Why not connect the emotions with the physical? And then I was disappointed again because I saw how the emotions were treated with medicine. And there was never a nutrition consult or much attention to nutrition. I saw women who were anorexic, and I saw women die with anorexia, which is the wild extent to which emotions can affect health and well-being. We don't take into consideration the wellness can be simple. It can be breathing. It can be really a deep understanding of breathing and nourishment and well-being. We don't always understand the level of which our daily activities can have a profound effect. So, to the third M, one of my moves in this area was to write a book. It's not a book I wanted to write, although I was interested in women's health forever, and actually did a dissertation at Berkeley on women's health. My book is called Cherish the Girls, a well-rounded approach to breast health and wellness. And I wrote the book because I saw that women enter the healthcare system at a certain period of time, usually at around age 40, and it all ramped up by the time they were 50. And breasts was basically the beginning of the sales cycle, or a sales funnel, as some might say. And I didn't believe that women deserve that with a really good form of wellness, we could avoid the problems and we could be more circumspect when it came to what the system was telling us in terms of what we should do and how we should manage it. Simple wellness does not have to be a burden, but it can be a part of our life that we are supported with. Since then, I have programs where I involve people in managing their wellness. And I just urge all of you to take simple wellness to the logical step of daily activities that are inspiring and where you basically exhibit your self-leadership, because we are at a time in history when we must demonstrate wellness. Strange things are happening, more diseases are popping up, and we all have really a sense of personal responsibility for ourselves, but also for our community. It's a time where there really truly is urgency for wellness. And back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lynn, so very, very much. I now call for 1 minute of silence. Thank you, Isaac, you anticipated me. Thank you, Isaac. And now I'd like to return the podium to our general evaluator, Victor Jenkins. There you are.
Well, I knew I had to do something wacky during this meeting. As the general evaluator, it's my job to introduce the evaluators and introduce those and ask for those reports that I told you about earlier. But the evaluation is a speech just like other portions of the meeting and is subject to timing constraints. Will the timer give everyone a reminder as to what the timing constraints are for an evaluation?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, Mr. GE. The speech for evaluations are from 2 to 3 minutes. So at 2 minutes, the green, 2.5 minutes, yellow, 3 minutes, red, and you will have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Those are the time constraints.
Thank you, sir. I love how you do that. And let me encourage the evaluators, pay close attention to the timer because we want you to give a qualified evaluation. And now to evaluate speaker number 1 is our first evaluator, none other than the guy with the magical name, Talha bin Hamid. Ladies and gentlemen, Talha bin Hamid. Take it away, Talha.
Thank you so much, Victor. You can say that name like 10 more times if you want to. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Teresa, for that wonderful, wonderful speech. Recently, I saw a movie that was called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. And in that, an immigrant, an Asian immigrant, is precisely subject to the same conditions that you listed in your speech. He was filing the taxes, he was subject to a tax audit, and she claimed a lot of her hobbies as businesses. So she was subject to an inquiry from an IRS, and she was being grilled by a tax officer. Then suddenly she breaks into a multiverse, and like there are 1,000 versions of her and all that. So the breaking news for us is that there's no multiverse for us to escape into, and you made that very clear. You reinforced the title in your speech right at the start, which I loved. You use some very good imagery and words. For example, so much joy, you can spend hours and thousands of dollars, good, or soul searching, or invitation to drudgery, or side hustle, or fess up to IRS, or body work. I mean, it was so well peppered with humor that it made a very potentially heavy and serious subject a lot more digestible for all of us. Your advice about being able to scale up your hobby is absolutely fantastic, because most of the startups that we see, most of the people who start to commercialize their hobbies, they do not realize that once you need to scale up, it becomes a job, it becomes a responsibility, it no longer remains a hobby. You have some responsibility to your customers, and that was eye-opening for all of us. And finally, one more absolutely fantastic aspect that you highlighted is that financial strain can strain marriages. And that is so true, because so much stress and tension in our lives, in our married lives, in our relationships, comes from financial stress. And more often than not, that financial stress is self-inflicted by our own irresponsibility. So, fantastic set of messages. It was a great lesson in not only managing your taxes, but managing the financials of your life. Thank you so much for that. And finally, you had a great conclusion by quoting that Al Capone was caught on tax fraud. What an emphatic closure. Just a few improvement areas. First of all, I would have loved to see you smile more with this content, and you could have been a little more expressive, because you had the goods, you had the expressions, you had the humor, you had the speech that was well peppered with tidbits and interesting insights. But your expressions and your delivery did not quite sell it. But other than that, it was an absolutely fantastic speech that delivered on all of its objectives. So congratulations on completing your project. Over to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you ever so much. We appreciate that evaluation. And now to evaluate speaker number 2 is a lady whose name I always want to end with Easton, because that's the only other Sheena I know. But that's not her name, ladies and gentlemen. I give you to evaluate speaker number 1, evaluator number 2, Sheena Walker.
Thank you. Okay. I thoroughly enjoyed that, Linda. I thought that was a wonderful presentation. In particular, I'm going to highlight what I thought was wonderful, and it sits quite close with me, is you opened with a question. And right away, when you open with a question, you get the agreement. Whether it's rhetorical, you get our agreement. I loved that. I loved how you used the 3 M's, mindset, movement, and mission. I like analogies, and it's easy for us to understand when you use it in that way. So well done on that. The humor about having tonsillitis so she could get an ice cream, I thought that was a brilliant way to express humor. I really loved that. And you could see a child doing that right now. I think you highlighted the negative side of your nursing by saying how some people do quite like to have the trauma in their life, and they'll expand on that. I thought that was a really good point you made, because social media is filled with people who love to talk about trauma. So you highlighted that as something that you try to change. So I thought that was really good. I think that your tonality was very good, and you've got very good charisma and presence on camera. And I think that's lovely to see. And your face is just such a pleasure to watch. So these were what I found was wonderful. What I thought was inspiring for all of us to listen to was that how to position your career. I thought that you positioned you really well. How you started, how you went to be a nurse, you did your PhD, then you did a book. That's really great positioning, and you managed to weave that in, so well done. I think that you inspired us listening to you. I call it continual professional development. I think that it's great if we could do that more. And simple wellness at the end, you told us that we could have, you know, we could feel better with simple wellness. Absolutely amazing, wonderful and inspiring. I'm using a little feedback approach called WIN. I said about being wonderful, said about inspiring, and the N is new. What could you do new that could make your brilliant speech even better? And that is if you could link to us, the audience. For instance, when you talked about the ice cream scenario, you could have said, have you ever listened to somebody doing that? Have you ever experienced that? So every time you mention a new topic or a point and speaking about career, you could say, let me ask you, did you do something in your career just like I did? So involving the audience makes you as the speaker become you focused. Okay, and I've got the red light. So have you experienced, would you agree? Have you ever wondered, did you know that? I'm sure you, so linking with the audience, but otherwise, well done, superb.
Thank you.
Back to me? Okay, thank you very much, Sheena Walker. We appreciate both evaluators' remarks. At this time, according to the agenda, the next thing that we do is we get the reports, the timer report and the grammarian report. So I'm going to quiet up and listen for those reports, and I urge all of you to pay attention as well. Take it away, Isaac. You got both of
Great.
them, do them in succession.
All right. The Cynthia table topics was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Victor, your table topics was 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Tala, your evaluation was 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Teresa, your speech was 7 minutes and 18 seconds, so you made it on time. Lynn, your table topics was 1 minute and 15 seconds. Your speech was 7 minutes, so you came in under time. Sheena, your table topics was 1 minute, 36 seconds. Your evaluation was 3 minutes and 40 seconds, so you're a little over on the evaluation. Kathleen, table topics was 1 minute and 30 seconds. Our guest, Rowan, your table topics was 1 minute and 10 seconds. Alpina, your table topics was 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Samuel, your table topics was 1 minute and 57 seconds. And Rabia, your table topics was 1 minute and 42 seconds. Back to you, Mr. GE. And I think Rabia's got the other report.
Let's go, Ravia.
Thank you so much, DTM Victor. So the word of the day today was teamwork and engagement, and I am pleased to say that many of us used it during the entire meeting. DTM Victor Irvin used it 4 times, DTM Linda used it 1 time, and she also used it many times when we were telling DTM Irvin what the word of the day was today. And then it was Toastmaster Sally Reyes used it 4 times, Toastmaster Lynn 3 times, guest Alpana used it 1 time, guest Samuel uses 1 time, and I hope I didn't miss anyone else. The rest, I loved the grammar today. I didn't find anything which I would like to report. One word which I really, one phrase which I really loved was when Toastmaster Teresa Chetty used profitable business is an oxymoron. She explained it to us. I really, really loved that part. Back to you, DTM Victor.
Thank you ever so much. And now to evaluate the meeting's proceedings. The meeting's proceedings was just a bit, for lack of a better term, clunky. I think many people understand what's meant by the term clunky. The tendency to meet 10:30, which is a full 30 minutes before the meeting begins, sometimes that sets the tone of the clunkiness. So perhaps we might be able to meet less than 30 minutes before the meeting begins. In fact, I would advocate for starting the meeting 2 minutes before it's set to go. And of course, that means that all the things that we do during the 30 minutes has to be done way ahead of time, which is really a pretty good idea because you don't want to make last minute changes, don't want to create a habit of making last minute changes. And when your meeting is what we have to attract people, the meeting's got to be tight. The meeting's got to be smooth. The meeting has got to be as slick as goose dung all the time. Because believe it or not, sometimes that makes the difference. If you will think in the past, we've had several people to come by and visit our club. And I think that perhaps if the meeting were a little slicker, some of those people might come back and join our club because they like what we do. In a meeting that's 2 hours long, we perhaps can do some things to help the 2 hours go by faster or to at least make them more enjoyable. Some clubs, and I am an advocate of clubs that do this, institute first, second, and third place ribbons for every meeting. Having 2 or 3 speakers, and when you meet the qualifications, the question becomes the qualification for what? Well, I like to say to meet the qualifications for one of the fabulous prizes that await the winner. Now, in terms of our improvement, one way to gauge your improvement is how well you do with these first and second place ribbon. And that's for the prepared speeches, that's for the table topics, and it's also for the evaluations. And the evaluations, which is what I really want to talk about, the 2 evaluations I heard today were stellar. They were exceptional evaluations. It was very clear that both of them were listening to both speakers. They broke the speeches down to the individual components and talked about each of them in a way that made it clear that they were listening. And then the 2 things that I think is cornerstone for evaluation is they brought their talk to a summary. They each gave a generalized summary right after they gave the suggestions for improvement, which as far as I'm concerned is textbook evaluations. That structure that Sheena mentioned, WIN, I think that would be something that probably could be used more often rather than the standard, what you heard, how it made you feel, and what you think sort of thing. I like the evaluations today because they both were very interesting. They were as interesting as the speeches that they were talking about. And finally, the reports given by Isaac and the reports given by Rabir were very concise and to the point, and it left lots of time for the general evaluator. Another thing the general evaluator is responsible for is when the meeting is going on too long, the general evaluator shortens their portion. When the meeting is not going on, when there's less time, then the general evaluator speaks less. Let me address the Toastmaster. The Toastmaster's job also is to keep the meeting interesting. Keep the meeting interesting by occasional references to whatever the theme of the meeting is. Keep the meeting interesting by a couple of quips every now and then. Because as I said, in the 2-hour meeting, anything that you can use to help the time go by fast or to fill the time appropriately is going to be appreciated by all the members, by all the people that watch. And the Table Topics Master today has not been the Table Topics Master forever and ever and ever. So some pointers that I can give to the Table Topic Master. In fact, you're the only person that I wrote down my comments for to make sure that I told you. Okay. Table Topics Master. When you are the Table Topics Master, you own the virtual lectern. Whatever goes down, it goes down because you say so. In essence, you have the lectern the same way that the Toastmaster of the day has it when the Toastmaster of the day is speaking. And since you are the one that's in charge and you are running the show, the only person that you want to ask anything is the Toastmaster. You know, if you're wondering about the time that you have left, you just ask the Toastmaster and leave it up to the conversation between you and the Toastmaster. And the people who are not the Toastmaster, you don't really have to talk to them. And that includes anybody. That even includes me. I want to commend us on our tendency not to interrupt people when they're talking, because some of us do that, and it's almost like we can't help doing that. So we just have to pray for them, and maybe they'll understand that everything is not about them. And what else? As you can see, the general evaluator has a lot to say, and there are many other things that we could talk about, but alas, we're going to give up the time, and give up the virtual lectern back to the Toastmaster, if after looking at the agenda, that's what I'm supposed to do. Aha, it's not. So thank each and every one of you for making this an exceptional meeting. Look forward to you making the next meeting just as exceptional. And let's have some people chomping at the bits to give speeches. One thing I want to say about speeches. If you are the Toastmaster of the day, wouldn't you like to have people giving speeches? Of course you would. Sometimes when people don't give speeches because they're not ready, I want to encourage those people, give a speech anytime you can. And if you're not ready, well, the evaluator will just have a field day and you'll learn something. Let's just let's make it a point, never to leave the Toastmaster hanging with no speakers on the agenda. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to give the virtual lectern to our Vice President of Education, and that's none other than, and I'm going to say this like it's supposed to be said, Mrs. Kathleen Peel.
Thank you, marvelous General Evaluator Victor. I want to quickly show you how to find your evaluator's email. So when we give a speech, we need to download the evaluation form specific to our speech project. And then we go to the main home page of our club administration site, EasySpeak. We go to this club and to user list. Here we find all of the, all of the names. If we want Marlon's, we open the editing tiny radio button, and here we are. I'll repeat that. Let's say we want Maureen's. There is the radio button. And there is her email. Grab it, use it in your own email service, and attach your evaluation form, and you are good to go. Just a little quick coaching on using our club to be sharp, our club website to perform sharply. And with that, looks like we might, speaking of long meetings, we might end early after a quick review and some announcements and chocolates. Ms. President Cynthia.
Thank you, Kathleen. Wow, what an amazing meeting. That was phenomenal. And this is now one of my favorite parts, is where you get to say what you are taking away with you today, what you learned, what you're going to, a seed that has been planted that you're going to let grow within you, and our virtual chocolates. We'll talk about that in a minute, but first some announcements. So I said earlier that we are starting to think about our TEDx event. We're going to be gathering our team to think about our theme and kind of how we're going to put it all together. But the thing that we need to do before we do that is what Kathleen Peel was talking about. Easy Speak, our agenda, because we want our agenda to be driven by our members, for them to say, I want to be Toastmaster of the day. I want to be grammarian. I want to speak. And here's all the information you need for me as a speaker. Instead of Kathleen having to chase you down. And she tells me when she has to chase you down, and then she asks me to chase you down, and that's not good. We want you to fill out the Easy Speak really easily, and that is the first step in your preparing to speak on our TEDx event. The second thing is, what do you want to speak about? What is your idea worth spreading? And you may have to shift it a little bit when we come up with our theme, but I think our theme will be pretty international and general, so that we can include a lot of topics within our event and make it a really special and diverse and inclusive on mind and ideas, as well as race and creed and nationality. It's going to be a plethora of teamwork internationally. So great. So we're hoping to look at that in the next few weeks or months. And we're hoping to have you start to speak about your TEDx speech. What is an idea you want to spread that in 5 to 7 minutes, because that will be our first rung of voting. It's like Victor said, we're going to absolutely have voting with our TEDx. We need to train our Zoom team so they can do polls and make it easy and smooth. But that's what we're going to do with TEDx. So, and the other announcement is next Monday, July 4th, is Independence Day in America. And so that is the only holiday we're going to take off this year, because it lands exactly on the day. Every other holiday we don't take off, except for the last 2 weeks of the year we're closed. So please enjoy your July 4th holiday, and we'll see you the next week on July 11th. Now, our takeaways and chocolates. I'd like to talk with our guests first. So Alpana, would you like to share what you're taking away with you today? What did you learn, and what are you going to let gestate inside you?
Well, thank you so much for asking that question. And I was letting it ruminate a little bit, as it was mentioned before. And I found this experience to be really wonderful. I thought it was quite organized, and just the quality of speeches, as well as, in particular, I really enjoyed the evaluations, which were of the speeches, where I felt like I learned a lot with the formatting of the kind of what we say and what is being perceived. So that was like a really wonderful, enlightening thing for me. And thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it, and all the feedback.
Wonderful. And we enjoyed having you. We hope you'll come back again and see us again soon. And would you like a virtual chocolate? They don't have any calories or guilt or sugar.
I'd actually like the real thing, but I'll settle.
I'll try to send it through the wires. So we give you a virtual chocolate. Would you like any flavor particular?
Caramel chocolate.
Oh, one of my favorites. Awesome. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. Whoosh.
Thank
Enjoy.
you.
Great. And we're going to go to your son. Is Raymond, is he still on the?
Rowan.
Rowan, I'm sorry.
Rowan, yeah.
Rowan, would you like to share what you are taking away with you to let germinate inside?
Sure. I had a lot of the same thoughts as my mom, I guess. I think it was really good to be able to listen to some speeches and kind of just learn from them, and the evaluations also really help because, again, you see what kinds of things you need to do when you're giving a speech and all of that. I think it was also great for the table topics because there were some interesting questions, and it was great practice for kind of communicating and talking in front of other people. But yeah, thank you for having me as well.
Great. Thank you for coming. And we're so glad that you all could participate in the table topics today because we had an extended session so that more people could enjoy it. So that's great. And Rowan, would you like some chocolate, or you could have another dessert? Some people are partial to peach cobbler or mangoes.
Sure, I'll have a chocolate.
Okay. Anyone in particular?
Also caramel. I like caramel chocolate as well.
Ah, that's a big. Oh my goodness! We've got something in the chat here. Alpana says that it was Rowan's birthday yesterday. So why don't
Yeah.
we all sing happy birthday, Rowan? Let's see how that works on Zoom. I don't know. It'll be a little bit out of sync, but we'll all start. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rowan. Happy birthday to you. And that was on tape.
Thank you.
That was recorded.
I think that's the first time we've done it. It's a little hard on Zoom. Great. So maybe, would you like a piece of chocolate cake instead? A birthday cake with ice cream on it?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to do an overhand. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. Hope it didn't make too much of a splash.
Got it. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Rowan.
Thank you.
You are a miracle child and a miracle man. Awesome. And Sam, would you like to share what you're taking away with you today?
I have been procrastinating, I guess, about joining a Toastmasters club, although I known about you for a long time. But I sincerely, I appreciate the engagement opportunity. I can see how all of you truly care. And I can see how this could be a good teamwork for me with the opportunity to learn and improve. I also enjoyed the table topics. I thought it was a good impromptu opportunity to practice your public speaking. I know, like I tell you before, I'm always behind the scene individual, but I appreciate how you guys do it. It's good to know. Like I said, first time for me, but yeah, it was definitely very rewarding. I sincerely appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. We truly enjoyed having you here. We hope to have you back again. And it really made our meeting engaging to have such engaged guests. Awesome. Awesome. When would you like a chocolate or a peach cobbler or a mango or anything?
I am also a caramel chocolate guy, so yes, thank you.
People after my own heart. Here's some caramel chocolate coming your way. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Nice catch. Awesome. And would any of our members like to share their experience? I would really love to hear from Sally.
Oh, thank you. I really had a terrific experience. I love touching people's hearts and hearing how they feel about their way through the world and how they can affect people. And to do it off the cuff is like, it's very special because it hits their heart and their minds, and I hope their actions. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. We really enjoyed that. And it was rather a marathon because it was an extended table topics. And I know you're only been a table topics master twice now. This was your second time, I think. And so great trooper for sticking in there. And would you like a chocolate?
Oh, yes, sometimes I like marzipan and medium chocolate. Thank you.
Ooh, marzipan and medium chocolate. Okay, coming your way. 1, 2, 3, whoosh.
Thank you.
Enjoy. And Gary, we haven't heard from you as during the meeting, so I'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections.
It was a great meeting. I really enjoyed both the speakers. It made me really think about hobbies and business and the differentiation between the two, and how to avoid that mistake. And certainly the speech by Lynn on wellness was really great. I liked the mindset portion of it, which made you think about what do you really want? Are you motivated or are you not to help your own wellness? So those were the two real keys that I took away from today.
Great, great, awesome. And would you like a chocolate?
Yes. Almonds with dark chocolate, please.
Ah, almonds with dark chocolate. One of my favorites too. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, whoosh. Nice catch.
Thank you.
Awesome. And do we have anyone else that wants to share their reflections or what they're taking away with them today to let grow and germinate within you? And I'd like to hear from Isaac, our lovely lovely, handsome timer.
Well, I'll accept either. But I want to speak to Sam, because it took me 3 years before I finally got the strength to join a Toastmaster, because I used to listen to audiobooks all the time, and all the motivational speakers and coaches would always talk about Toastmasters. And like I said, I procrastinated for 3 years, but once I finally joined, I realized, what was I waiting for? Because once you jump in there, you realize, hey, you just got to do it. You got to take the plunge. So anyway, what I take away from the meeting is it was a good meeting. As always, everyone played a part to make it a good meeting. So I enjoyed it. And as you know, my chocolate could be a peach cobbler, but since I don't want to be different, so I'll accept a almond chocolate today.
Almond chocolate. Okay, you gotta change it up every once in a while. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Yeah.
Here comes 1, 2, 3, whoosh! Yum! Enjoy. Great. And does anyone else want to? Oh yes, Lynn.
I just wanted to say, I've been in the speaking business. That's what I did after I did my doctoral program, because I just believed in stress management and assertion and all these different things over times and wellness. But I never cultivated the signature speech. Are we being recorded? Oh no, we're being recorded. I mean, the joke is I like different things new. Let's keep making all these different ideas. And Cynthia's been pushing me, do your signature speech. I've known about this for 25 years. And it just reminds us like, okay, now's the time for all of us, I think, to just put I won't say nail in the coffin, but a line in the sand about what it is that we can do. And that's what's important to us. It's just critical. It's a crazy time on the planet. We all have a message. We all have something to say. We all have our backgrounds, our history, our personal experiences, and just putting it out there, organizing it. I mean, I flunked a few science courses. You know what? That's going to go in one of my signature speeches. It's like, oh, I repressed that for so many years. So what? So what? Just we all have our dirty laundry and things that just help other people feel a little bit more normal about. No one's perfect. We've all struggled. My daughter's 32. I took her to Toastmasters meetings when she was an infant. So that's how far back I go on this. Do I have signature speech? No, but I will. Anyways, thank you, Cynthia. And also thank you, Sheena, for a great evaluation. That was really fun. And it's a fun group today.
Great. And I think the bare bones, at least of your signature speech or maybe your TED Talk, is what you talked about today. So
Yes.
it's really near and dear to your heart. And I think that's the thing that we need to share. The idea worth spreading is usually the one that's closest, nearest, and dearest to our heart. And would you like a chocolate, Miss Lynn?
You're muted, Lynn.
Well, what I said was I have my own, they're real ones, but no, I'll take one. Any kind.
Yes.
What do you have?
How
Cynthia.
about a nice, healthy, dark chocolate
Oh, good. Love it.
with almonds?
I was just going to ask for that. Sure. Great.
Great. And
Can I
here we
just-
go. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Enjoy.
Thank you.
Tina
Right.
has her hand up.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, on the back of, it's interesting, Lynn's feedback, because I was about to say something similar that Lynn brought up about continual professional development, and she's followed a route. And I think that there's a tremendous learning for everyone here to think about continual professional development of the highest level. And the question to ask weekly is, do I speak and work to a quality standard? Do I demonstrate a model of good practice? And if we don't, we've got to look at what we need to do. And the third thing I'd like to say, Lynn brought up about having a signature speech. I don't think you do that in Toastmasters, not what I call a signature speech. And that's something that could be really important in your business, having something specific that makes you a specialist. And that's something very different.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. And I've encouraged people to start their signature speech with the Pathways program, because there are several Pathways projects where you give a speech and then you give another speech, the same speech again, and get feedback. Also talking about your purpose and talking about your body language and vocal variety. So it's a good way to at least get the bones of your signature speech out there. Great. And Sheena, would you like some chocolates?
Yes, I'm trying to slim, so you're not doing very well encouraging me to have chocolate.
Well, this kind doesn't have any calories or sugar or
Yeah,
guilt.
free.
Yes, but you put it into my subconscious mind, so I'll be going for it now.
Oh, uh-oh, you're going to go to your garage again, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, here's some healthy and satisfying, and hopefully the virtual one will satisfy you. Chocolate. 1,
Thank
2,
you.
3. Woo! Enjoy. Okay, does anyone else have a burning desire to make something known before we go? Okay. Teresa, was that, did you want to say a comment?
I really appreciate the general evaluator for saying, you know, we need to be prepared a little bit sooner. And boy, I would like a tutorial on Easy Speak, because every time I go in there, I'm digging for the information.
Do you
Anyway,
see those messages I send out for every other Saturday? It's
which is
Easy Speak.
exactly the same time as my other Toastmasters meetings.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we'll make an appointment. We'll make an
Yes.
appointment, Teresa.
And thank you so much. There's a beautiful culture in this club, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Great.
Teresa. It was a beautiful speech. Very
Yes.
exciting.
Awesome
The
speech.
combination of the two speeches were really impetus for me to focus and step up bit by bit. The two together were really grand information for me.
Oh, shoot.
All right. I'm going to stop the recording now, if that's all right.
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to end the meeting. have a wonderful Independence Day wherever you are. I hope you feel your freedom and exercise your right to speak your truth. Thank you so much, and bye-bye for now.
Thank you for your wonderful leadership.
Thank you.